Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Coming Home to Yourself podcast. I'm your host, Vanessa, and here we'll dive into everything healing, mindset, confidence, manifestation, and how to become your most empowered self, aka Coming Home to Yourself. In today's episode, we're closing out season 1 of the Coming Home to Yourself podcast with the ultimate identity shift, which is all about stepping into full self ownership and becoming completely unstoppable. Because here's the truth. There is a version of you that is already powerful, already confident, already certain, right? And she doesn't question herself. She doesn't shrink in the presence of others. She doesn't wait for permission, validation, or approval. But instead, she moves with certainty. She walks in her power and she owns her reality. And the only thing standing between you and her is the decision to fully embody who you were always meant to be. So today, we're going to talk about the difference between working on yourself and actually embodying power. We're talking about the truth of self-ownership, the mindset that makes people powerful and unstoppable, and how to move through the world with presence, confidence, and grace, no matter what life throws at you. Because the time for playing small, honey, it's over. So let's start with the difference between working on yourself and embodying power. A lot of people think that they are doing the work. They are reading all the books, they are watching all the motivational content on YouTube, on TikTok, Instagram, all the things. They are journaling every morning, every night. They are affirming and saying their affirmations in the mirror every day. They're manifesting by writing things down a million times, right? They're doing their yoga, they are binge watching one course after the other, one class after the other, after one mentor after the other, after one coach after the other, and so on. But there's a huge difference between intellectualizing power and actually embodying it. And believe me, for the longest time, I was a victim of that as well, and playing in that realm of ego so badly. Because true power is not a concept, it's not a mindset, it's not something you just believe in, it's who you are, it's who you embody, right? It's your actions, it's your behavior. And most people never actually step into it because they are still caught in the trap of self-improvement and that love and light movement and that self-love movement, right? So the first thing I'm going to mention is the trap of working on yourself. So let's be honest here. Working on yourself obviously feels productive, right? It feels great. It feels like you are making progress. But for many people, it's just another way to procrastinate on actually becoming who they want to be. So let's say you read another self-help book instead of actually making a move, or you watch another motivational YouTube video instead of actually applying what you've learned, right? You script out your affirmations but never actually make the decisions that align with them, right? So you just focus on the wordings. You just focus too much on what is being said to you, on the information that is being given to you, but never actually on the embodiment part of it. And this is what I call self-improvement addiction, right? You feel like you are evolving so much and you're learning so much because you are consuming all this information. But consuming isn't the same thing as embodying it, okay? Because you can read 100 books, but if you're still doubting yourself, still hesitating, still insecure, still waiting for things to be perfect before you take action, still self-sabotage yourself, still not go through with what you know you need to do, you are still not walking in your power. You're just pretending to be, and you're hiding behind all of these big words and big spiritual words. And let's also be honest here, most of the time it's these spiritual people that hide behind spiritual concepts and these spiritual practices. And I'm going to my tarot lady and I'm doing my yoga every morning and I'm doing my breath work every once in a while, and I listen to Janae Aiko, and I'm doing shrooms all day long, and all of the things, right? But you are not actually embodying it because after you do those practices, while I'm a huge fan of them, of most of them, and I know they are very beneficial and they do exist for a reason, and they're being used in certain countries majorly instead of medications and all of that stuff, and that's another discussion for another day. While I'm a fan of it, most people are using them to bypass the actual work, because after they do these practices, they go out and still talk crap about other people. They still go out and talk and stalk their ex's new girlfriend or just their ex overall, and they are still hung up on their ex, and they gossip all day long, and they complain all the time, and they are being lazy, and they're still going out getting drunk as fuck and party all weekend, and don't do sports, don't take care of their bodies, still think bloating and all of that stuff is normal, still pump themselves full with medications and not ask themselves questions, still think it's normal to be in a depressive phase and be anxious all the time and self-doubt and overthink and spiral and have zero emotional and nervous system regulation, right? All of these things. And that's what comes with it. And that's not embodiment, that's just bypassing, and you're hiding behind that intellectualization of this work instead of the embodiment of this work. So what does embodying power actually look like? So embodying power is when you no longer need to convince yourself. You simply are, right? You don't say you are confident, you move like you are. You don't hope for respect. You carry yourself in a way that commands it. You don't wish for opportunities, but you align with them because you're already showing up as the person who belongs in those spaces. The same goes for manifestations. You don't need to focus on writing everything down or saying it in the mirror a bunch of times. All you need to focus on is switching your subconscious mind, rewiring your synapses, and actually believing what you wish and what you desire, right? Knowing, having that deep knowing state and embodying that deep knowing state that you're getting what you desire, that it is coming, or better said, that it is actually already there before it shows up in the 3D world. So you stop waiting for confirmation in your physical reality because you already know it's already there and you're working towards it, right? You do not need to post yourself on Instagram half naked to show how confident you are, because people can see how confident you are even fully clothed in winter, right? With a beanie on, a scarf, a coat, all of the things, because confidence radiates its energy, right? When you truly embody your power, you don't need constant reminders or affirmations or proof that you are worthy, because you simply decide and then you live from that decision. And that's when life begins to shift. That's when you stop trying to be confident and you just are. That's when you stop trying to become this powerful and unstoppable person, because you just are. That's when you stop hoping things will align and start making them align, right? That's when you go from someone who is working on themselves to someone who is unshakable, magnetic, and truly unstoppable. And in that case, here's the reality as well. No one is going to come and do this for you. No mentor, no coach, no relationship, so no partner, no friends, no external force overall, not your family, nobody, not your cat, not your dog, really nobody. At some point, you have to take full responsibility for your own life, right? You cannot run to your new boyfriend and expect him to heal you alone. You cannot find a new friends group because your last one was toxic and expect them to heal you and help you and do all of the things, right? You cannot expect your family that broke you in the first place, by the way, is going to heal you just because you have a little bit of a better bond right now, or because you're being nicer to them right now, or they're being nicer to you. You cannot expect just getting a new animal or an animal at all that they're going to save you, because they are not. You have to, at some point, take full responsibility for your own life. And this isn't meant to be discouraging. It's meant to be freeing, right? So put your ego aside. This is not to discourage you. I'm just throwing the honest truth in your face. Because if no one else is responsible for your success, that means you have all the power. Okay? So the first thing is radical responsibility is the key to power. And most people don't feel powerful because they are still looking for something outside of them to give them direction, to give them validation, or even permission, right? But the moment you stop waiting for someone to tell you what to do, what's possible, or what's allowed for you, everything changes. So taking radical responsibility means there's no more blaming external circumstances, no more waiting for the right time, no more playing victim to your past, your environment, the people around you, the people from your past, your acts, and so on, or your self-doubt even. Because when you own everything, you control everything. When you stop making excuses and start making decisions, you reclaim your power. When you stop waiting and start moving, start doing, start acting, start embodying, that's when the world starts shifting in your favor. All right? So instead of being focused on why life is happening to you, ask yourself what you are doing in order to attract that right now. Because the next thing I'm going to mention, and the key point that I'm going to mention, is you already have the power. You just have to stop giving it away, right? You have always been powerful. But every time you hesitate, every time you second guess yourself, every time you give someone else's opinion more weight than your own, you are giving pieces of that power away. And what happens when you keep giving away your power? You start to believe you don't have any left, right? But that's a lie, because you are not powerless. You are not at the mercy of life. You are not stuck unless you choose to be. The real question here is, are you ready to finally claim the life that was meant for you? Because no one else is going to do it for you. How does that saying go? You can push the horse to the pond, but you cannot force it to drink. It has to decide to drink by itself, right? Or like my partner always says, you can push me to the door frame, but I am the one that has to step through it. Now, how do you move through life with a presence that commands respect? In this case, I want to talk about presence, right? Because powerful people don't just talk confidently. They carry themselves in a way that commands attention without saying a word. So their energy precedes them, right? Presence is not just about how you look or how you speak, it's about how you carry yourself, how you take up space, and how you show up in the world, right? So when you move with presence, you don't need to announce yourself, because people notice you because of the energy that you bring. So first off, the energetics of confidence. Why is your presence speaking before you do? That is because people can feel your energy before you even say a word. You have experienced this. You walk into a room and there's someone who immediately commands your attention, not because they are loud or demanding, but because they exude a quiet confidence, right? There's something about them that just gets your attention and you cannot take your eyes off of them, right? That's the kind of presence that commands respect. That's the kind of presence I'm talking about. It's not about trying to be seen. It's about embodying who you are so fully that you are naturally magnetic. And that's what magnetic really means. So what does this look like in real life? So when you walk into a meeting, for example, you're not slouched or making yourself smaller, but instead you take your seat as if you belong there, right? When you speak, you don't rush your words or soften your tone to make people comfortable. You speak clearly and assertively. When you are around others, you maintain eye contact, you hold your posture, and you don't apologize for your ideas, for your opinion, for your passion, for anything, right? It's not about arrogance or aggression at all. unless it's your ego coming out, and it is indeed that, but it should be about certainty. You know who you are, and you are comfortable in your skin. And that kind of energy speaks louder than any words and immediately shifts the dynamic in any room, right? Moving through life like you belong in every room is the key. Most people walk through life with an attitude of, am I allowed to be here? Do I belong here? Will people accept me here, right? But powerful people, they walk into every room, every situation, every opportunity, every meeting, all the things like they were made for it, right? They don't ask for permission. They assume they are worthy of being there. They don't wonder if they are good enough. They know they have something valuable to offer and to bring to the table, right? They don't play small to make others comfortable. They show up as their full selves, knowing that their authenticity is their greatest strength. This doesn't mean that they never feel fear or doubt, or that it doesn't creep up at certain times. It means that every time it does, they still choose to show up fully despite it. Because the truth is, the world takes you as you take yourself. And if you walk into a situation doubting yourself, others will mirror that doubt. But if you walk into owning your own space, people will naturally respond with respect, even if they don't consciously know why, right? The next thing I'm going to mention is setting boundaries that protect your energy and reinforce your worth. That's a huge one. A major part of moving through life with presence is knowing how to set and maintain your boundaries. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't know how to do that. Powerful people don't let others walk all over them, right? If you want to be truly unstoppable, you cannot let other people treat you like crap and walk over you. Other people don't sacrifice their own well-being for the comfort of others. They have a clear sense of what they will and will not tolerate, and they enforce those boundaries unapologetically, and that's what you need to do as well. Now, what does this look like in real life? You might not overcommit yourself, not because you're afraid of saying no, but because you prioritize your own time and energy. You don't allow others to treat you poorly or disrespect your time. You communicate your boundaries clearly. You don't absorb other people's opinions of you as the truth. You understand that your worth is not up for negotiation, right? Boundaries are not walls. They are guidelines for how others can interact with you, and they are essential for maintaining your power. Now, the art of being truly unshakable and handling setbacks, rejection, and challenges with grace means life is not always going to be smooth, right? And being powerful doesn't mean that you never face difficulties. So, what makes powerful people unstoppable is how they respond when things don't go their way. The first thing is you have to reframe your setbacks from failure to redirection. Setbacks are inevitable, challenges are given, but they are not signs that you are unworthy or incapable. They are simply opportunities for redirection, for growth, and deeper understanding, right? Now, what does that look like in real life? When you face a setback, for example, you don't see it as a reflection of your worth, you see it as a necessary step in your evolution. When you fail at something, you do not internalize it as, oh, I'm a failure, I failed, I'm this, I'm that, I'm a loser. But you understand that failure is an event and not an identity. When doors close, you don't stand there banging on them in frustration. You trust that something better is aligned for you, and you move forward and you look for the next best door to open, for the next better door to open. The real power isn't in never facing challenges, it's in how quickly you rise after them. Okay? Powerful people are unshakable because they don't let circumstances dictate their self-worth. They know that the path to success is not linear, and they are willing to adapt, learn, and keep moving no matter what. no matter what. And this brings me to my next point, which is emotional resilience. So, how to stay grounded no matter what. And emotional resilience is the ability to stay centered even when everything around you is chaotic and going to shit. It's the ability to maintain your composure, keep your clarity, and move forward even when life feels uncertain. What this looks like in real life is you don't react impulsively to every challenge that comes your way, but you respond with intention. So it's not life is happening to me, it's life happens for me, right? When things go wrong, you don't spiral into panic or into self-doubt, but instead you ground yourself. You assess the situation and then you decide your next steps calmly. Or when people criticize or reject you, you don't crumble, but instead you evaluate their feedback, take what's useful, or ignore it if it was a projection, and leave the rest behind. This doesn't mean that you don't feel emotions. It simply means that you don't let emotions control you, right? So being unshakable is about standing firm in who you are, regardless of the storm around you. And this brings me to the next point, which is the power of taking aligned action, even when it is uncomfortable, right? So, one of the key traits of powerful people is that they take action even when it is uncomfortable. And that's what I've been talking about all along. They don't wait until they feel 100% ready, and they don't wait for the fear to disappear. They understand that confidence isn't the absence of fear, it's the ability to move forward despite it, to move forward with it, right? To face it. Now, what does that look like in real life? It could be that you're taking the leap into a new opportunity, even when you don't have all the answers, right? Even if you are shitless scared, if you don't know if it's safe or if it's going to be good and successful and a win overall, right? It could look like you speak up in a meeting or in a relationship, in a friendship, in your family dynamic, even when your voice shakes. Because it can be normal to be nervous before a serious conversation, right? It is demanding to speak up, and it does take courage to speak your mind without considering the other person's feelings. And not in a disrespectful way, but simply in a way that you don't make yourself small, right? You make decisions that align with your highest self, even if they are uncomfortable in the moment, but you have the bigger picture in your mind, right? You resist temporary distractions for your future desire, for your future vision, right? Because the truth is, growth is uncomfortable. And if you are constantly avoiding discomfort, you are also avoiding growth. And powerful people know this, and they embrace it. So here's the reality. You have always been powerful. You have always had the ability to be unshakable, magnetic, and fully embodied. But stepping into that version of yourself, that's a decision that you have to make every single day. It's deciding to stop working on yourself and actually start embodying your power. Okay? It's deciding to take full responsibility for your life. No more excuses, no more waiting, no more playing small. It's deciding to move with certainty and conviction, even when things don't go as planned, even when you fail. It's deciding to handle setbacks, rejection, and challenges with grace, knowing that nothing can take away your worth. Because even if you fail, it's going to set you up for success in the future, right? Even if things don't work out, it just means they're going to work out in the future because you keep trying. And most importantly, it's simply deciding to stop hiding and start showing up as the fullest, most unapologetic version of yourself. Because when you do that, when you truly own your power, you don't just transform your life. You transform everything and everyone around you. And this is the art of becoming unstoppable. And I mean, have you ever noticed that the most powerful people in the world, they aren't always the smartest or the most talented or even the most skilled. What they all have in common is conviction. They don't move with hesitation. They don't second guess every decision. They don't constantly look around for reassurance. They move like they belong, like they were made for this. And because they believe it, the world reflects it back to them. Because here's the secret: people believe in you at the same level you believe in yourself. And if you move like you don't trust yourself, no one else will either. If you speak like you are unsure, people will hesitate to listen. If you doubt your worth, the world will too. But the moment you start moving with certainty, everything shifts. Certainty doesn't mean you always have the answers. And certainty also doesn't mean that you never make mistakes. It means that no matter what happens, you trust yourself to figure it out. So you are certain within the uncertain. And that level of confidence, this is what makes you unstoppable. And if you have been wanting to put in 100% effort into yourself, then the Coming Home to Yourself community is where it's really at. This is your space to dive deeper into everything we talk about here: healing, mindset, confidence, and embodiment, with exclusive content and unlimited resources, live sessions, and a supportive group of like-minded women who are all on their own journey of coming home to themselves. If you are ready to go all in on yourself and your growth, this is your chance to join my world. You can find all the details in the link I leave down below and on my Instagram, and I cannot wait to see you inside. And with that being said, I'm your host Vanessa. Thank you so much for listening, and I guess I'll see you in season 2 of the Coming Home to Yourself podcast. Until next season, bye!